Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. May all be happy. May no one suffer from any disease. May all see only goodness in others. May no one suffer. This is an ancient prayer in the books of Hinduism. The subject of my talk today is Sri Sarada Devi, the compassionate mother. In our ancient scriptures, such as in the Taittiriya Upanishad, we read, Matrideva Bhava, look upon your mother as God. And in those days, in ancient times, boys had to go to their teachers' homes when they were quite young and live there until they would finish their education. The education would take, depending upon the quality of the student, 12 to 16 years. But when the some students would complete their studies and they had to go home, then the teacher would give a farewell address to them. In that farewell address, the teacher is saying to the students, Matrideva Bhava, look upon your mother as God. Then Pt1, look upon your father as God. Acharya Deva Bhava, look upon your teacher as God. Atithi Deva Bhava, look upon your guests as God. See, these are the teachings given at that time. But the mother's place is the highest. Mother's place is the highest. That is because there is no one like mother. We know when I was a boy, a very young boy, and the Second World War was just over, I think. And there was a gentleman in our neighborhood who used to be in the British Army. He was from India. And he said that some British soldiers, when they were in the deathbed, would be calling their mother. So we all are fond of our mothers. There are so many stories to glorify the motherhood of women. Here in this country, I have been here for about 47 years. When I came, I read in the newspaper an incident. The house was on fire and a cat, which most probably lived in that house, entered that burning house a few times to bring out its children, the young ones. Even in animals that is there, mother's love. And in our monastic order, there is a saintly soul who was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. His name was Swami Turiyananda. When he was 3 years old, he was outside and a stray rabid fox was about to attack him. Seeing that his mother faced that fox, and she herself got beaten by that fox, but she saved that baby. That baby eventually became Swami Turiyananda, a saintly soul, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. But his mother died. Such is the love of the mother. There is no one like mother, that's what we are taught. Janani janma bhumischa swargadapi gariyasi. This statement is there. Mother and the motherland, they are even superior to heaven. That statement is there. And in one of our scriptures, such as the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhuttanam adharmasya tatatmanam srijamyaham. When there is decline in spirituality in this world, then to revive that religion, I am born again. Who is saying that? It is God who is saying. God then takes on a human body and comes down to earth to help us become more spiritual. So, God incarnates at that time in human form. God who is omnipotent, omnipresent and omniscient, that God who is all-powerful, God who is present everywhere, that God, that infinity, takes on a human body and comes down to our level. And so Sri Sarada Devi, about whom I am going to speak this morning, was a divine incarnation. That is God who came down to earth in the form of Sarada Devi. They are called divine incarnations. There was another divine incarnation also born. His name is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So, they both were born for the well-being of the humanity, well-being of humanity, and to revive the decline that was there at that time in spirituality. Revive it and make it good, noble. So, the subject of my talk this morning, as I have told you already, is Sarada Devi, the compassionate mother. So, God was born as Sarada Devi to show the compassion of God. And which compassion is the best? Mother's compassion, mother's love. She came to display that love. Let me talk about a little bit about her life as a human being. She was born in the year 1853 and existed in this world until 1920. And everything in her life almost was miraculous. And before her birth, her father saw a very impressive dream. Her father was Ramchandra Mukherjee. He was a very good man, very honest and spiritually advanced. He had a dream. In that dream he saw that the Divine Mother had taken the form of a little charming girl, baby, and that baby came to him and embraced him and said, I am coming to you. That was the dream. The Sarada Devi's mother also Shama Sundari, that was her name. She also once saw, she was sitting under a tree, and from that tree one female deity took the form of a beautiful little girl, and that girl came and embraced her and said, "I have come to you." This is in her life. And then when she started growing up, you see, she was growing up, then something happened in her life, her marriage. In those days in India, child marriage was there. Little girls would be married and they would go to their in-laws' home, and there they would start growing up. Then they would become like the member of that in-laws' family. That was the purpose, I think, why this child marriage was there. I have told you that Sri Ramakrishna was another divine incarnation, and his father was Khudiram Chatterjee, and the mother's name was Chandramani Devi. They were also very spiritually developed. And Khudiram Chatterjee went to that holy place of pilgrimage in India called Gaya, and after his return, he had a dream, a divine dream. In that dream he saw that a deity was telling him, "I am going to be born as your son." And the child who was born is Ramakrishna. From his very young childhood, his life was extraordinary. When he was about 11 years old, he had the vision of God, and he had what is called the highest spiritual ecstasy, Nidhivikalpa Samadhi. At that time the mind becomes one with divinity. And he was a wonderful child. His name was at that time Gadadhar Chatterjee. But he had another official name, which is Ramakrishna. In his family, his father's name was Ramchandra Mukherjee, and he had elder brothers. One was Ram Kumar Mukherjee, the other one was Rameshwar, his elder brothers. And he had the name Ramakrishna. His elder brother Ram Kumar was living in Calcutta. He started a school for students. He would teach them Sanskrit and other things. And then at that time there was a woman very famous in India, and she lived near Calcutta. Her name was Rani Rasmani. She was very rich and she was very rich and generous. She had wonderful qualities. She had properties in many places. And the British government at that time, because India was under British rule at that time, British government gave her the title Queen, that means Rani, Rani Rasmani. And Rani Rasmani had some divine dreams also. And in one dream, she saw the Divine Mother coming to her and telling her, start a temple on the bank of the river Ganga, the holy river, here. She was thinking of going to some other, on a pilgrimage. But the mother said, you don't have to go anywhere. You build a temple here and I will be here on the bank of the river Ganga. Then a place was selected on the bank of Calcutta, not far from where Rani Rasmani lived. This place is called Dakshineshwar. And she had a son-in-law, his name was Mathur, he was very capable. He used to manage her properties and everything. And so when she had the temple erected for the Divine Mother, she started looking for a priest who would do the worship. But Rani Rasmani was not from the Brahmin caste, and in those days they would observe certain rules and regulations. And then no priest would like to come and worship in a temple or worship her as a priest, because the temple had been founded by someone who was not a Brahmin. So Rani Rasmani was very sad owing to that. Then she sought for advice, and Ram Kumar, Sri Ramakrishna's eldest brother, he was there. So she asked him what to do, and he said, it can be done if you have the temple, you have had the temple there, and offer this temple as a gift to some Brahmin. And then you can have Brahmin priests coming and worshipping there in your temple. Then she offered that temple to her guru, her spiritual teacher. And then Ram Kumar asked his younger brother Rameshwar to start worshipping in that temple of the Divine Mother, Kali, which had been installed by Rani Rasmani. And then later on, Ramakrishna came from his native village, Kamarpukur, to be with his elder brother Ram Kumar. And Ram Kumar engaged him as the priest or worshipping priest at the Vishnu temple. There are several temples there. Rani Rasmani had installed the main temple, which is the temple of the Divine Mother, Kali, and there were 12 temples of Lord Shiva, and there was one Vishnu temple. So Sri Ramakrishna started working there because his brother Ram Kumar had asked him to do that. And then something happened to Rameshwar, he could not worship the Divine Mother at the temple of the Divine Mother Kali. Then Ramakrishna had to take that position. And when he started worshipping the Divine Mother Kali, then that he was a divine incarnation could not be hidden. He would see the Divine Mother present there. A living image. And he would worship her. And his worship was also very different from traditional worship. And so, anyway, that attracted the attention of Mathur and Rani Rasmani. And they recognized him to be a saint. Then one nun came. She belonged to the Tantra cult. Her name was Bhairavi. She was from a Brahmin family. She came there because the temple would allow monks and nuns and holy people to come and stay there as guests for a few days. And Bhairavi Brahmani came. She saw Ramakrishna. She was well versed in the scriptures. And she saw, and she was also spiritually developed. And she recognized Sri Ramakrishna to be a divine incarnation. He said that to him. But the divine incarnations don't want to go to others and tell that they are divine incarnations. They want to hide their identity. But nevertheless, Bhairavi Brahmani proved to Sri Ramakrishna that all the signs and symptoms that are there in the scriptures given to know who is a divine incarnation, they were present in Ramakrishna. And some scholars, Pandits, who were well versed in the scriptures, they had been requested by Mathur. They also came and declared that all the signs and symptoms of a divine incarnation were present in Ramakrishna. And then Ramakrishna started having many spiritual experiences. And other people thought that that was some kind of mental illness or something. And then some thought that if he would marry, then he would become a normal person. Then he was sent to his village. His brother Rameshwar started looking for the bride. They were looking here and there and everywhere, but they were not able to find any. Then Ramakrishna said to Rameshwar, "Why are you looking here and there? There is a girl who is labeled for me. He is the daughter of Ramchandra Mukherjee. And Ramchandra Mukherjee lives only 3 miles away from Kamarpukur, Sri Ramakrishna's birthday, in the village called Jairambati. Go there." And they went there and they agreed. And that's how they were married. Sri Sarada Devi and Ramakrishna. And Ramakrishna was 24 years old and Sarada Devi was only 6 years old. Eventually Sarada Devi, when she started growing up, at the time she was in Sri Ramakrishna's home. Sri Ramakrishna was in Calcutta, in the Dakhineshwar temple. And then by that time she had gradually grown up and she was about 13 years old. And she had to go and take bath in a man-made lake, which is near Kamarpukur. But she was a shy woman. She thought, how can I go and take bath there? Then something strange happened. 8 girls, almost of her age, came. They said, we will go with you. And whenever she would go to take her bath in that man-made lake, they would surround her, and so she could take bath and she would not feel shy anymore. That's what happened every time she would go to take her bath in that lake. Who those women were is a wonder. The women said, we are your friends, we live close by. But they were no other than deities who take the form of the women. So, this Sarada Devi, when she was a young girl, she had to sometimes cut some plants which were in water, which would grow in water. And she saw another girl of her age, so to say, who would be there and would help her to do that work. But others would not be able to see her, that girl. These are only indications that she was no ordinary person. She was a divine incarnation. And the subject of my talk is Sarada Devi, the compassionate mother. Sri Ramakrishna, while Sarada Devi went to Dakshineshwar and was living there with him, then their marriage was a spiritual marriage. At first they were in the same bed, in the room where Sri Ramakrishna used to stay in the temple complex. She also slept in that room. Then one day Sri Ramakrishna asked her, have you come here to bring my mind down to the worldly level? Then she said, no, I have come here to help you in your spiritual life. And in Hinduism, the wife is called Sahadharmini, co-partner in spiritual life. She wanted to demonstrate that, I think. That's why God took her form. And Sri Ramakrishna once asked by her, how do you look upon me? Sri Ramakrishna said, I look upon you as my mother who gave birth to my body, and also as the divine mother who is in the temple. That's what Sri Ramakrishna said to her. And what does Sarada Devi say about Sri Ramakrishna? She would look upon him as a child. This is what is an example of spiritual marriage. And they came to demonstrate that. And then when she was in the Dakshineshwar temple, then she was not living in Sri Ramakrishna's room anymore. Sri Ramakrishna would have frequent spiritual ecstasies at night, and it will be difficult for her to handle him. Then there was a music tower which had 2 floors in Bengali that is called Nahabat, and very close to the building where Sri Ramakrishna was living, and she started living there. One day, and she would cook food for Ramakrishna and bring that food and give that to him. And she would cook that food in that music tower and bring that food and give to Ramakrishna every time he needed food. One day, while she was bringing the plate of food for Sri Ramakrishna, and she was about to enter Sri Ramakrishna's room, one woman came to her and said, "Mother, please give me this plate. I will take this to your husband." And she gave. And then the plate was placed in front of Sri Ramakrishna, and they would sit on the floor in those days in India. There were no tables and chairs. And Sri Ramakrishna would sit on the floor. There was some seat there for that. And that food was placed before him. And then that woman left. And a few minutes later came Sarada Devi. And Sri Ramakrishna did not eat that food at that time. He said to her, "Why did you ask that woman to bring this food to me? Don't you know her character? Her character is not good. She is impure." Then Sarada Devi said, "She called me mother, and that's why I gave her that plate of food to be brought to you." Sri Ramakrishna said, "You should never give my plate of food to anyone who is not pure." Then Sarada Devi said, "But I'm sorry, I cannot obey you. If anyone calls me mother, I have to give that plate to her to be brought to you." And Sri Ramakrishna was happy when Sarada Devi said that. Then that same food he ate happily. That means she was happy to see that the Divine Motherhood was being manifest in Sarada Devi. She was, when Sri Ramakrishna passed away, when he was not yet completely 50, and he said to Sarada Devi, "I have to leave the world." Then by that time some people had started recognizing Sri Ramakrishna to be a divine incarnation. Then Sri Ramakrishna said to Sarada Devi, "A divine incarnation is like a king in disguise. The king comes to help the subjects, and the king in disguise goes to his subjects' home and starts helping them. But if any of the subjects recognizes the king to be the king, then understands that the king has put on a disguise and has come to help me, then the king has to return to the king's palace." So a time came when some people started recognizing Sri Ramakrishna as a divine incarnation, such as Bhairavi, Brahmani and others, which I mentioned. So he had to return. He had to give up his body and go to his celestial abode. Then he said, "I am leaving, but you have to do much more." That's what Sri Ramakrishna said to Sarada Devi. Then she says, "What can I do? I am not educated much at all." All this. Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, what I have done is but little, but you have to do much more. That means she came to show the compassionate side of God as mother. And Sri Ramakrishna came to establish that religion which is called Hinduism, or anyway, to re-establish spirituality in the world. And he said to her, what I have done is but little, what you have to do is much more. Then Sarada Devi became the mother. She became the mother of all. Whoever would come to her would become her child. There was one young man, his name was Gyana. He came from a county in Bengal called Sylhet. And at that time Sarada Devi was living in Calcutta in a house as arranged by the disciples of Ramakrishna. That is now called the Holy Mother's house. Sarada Devi is called the Holy Mother, or otherwise it would be called Udbodhan. And there she was staying. And this Gyana came to Calcutta to have initiation from her. And he had someone known to him who was a monk of the Ramakrishna Order. And he went to him first and came to know that Sarada Devi was no longer living in that house in Calcutta. She had gone to her native village, Jairambati. When Gyana wanted to have initiation from her, so he walked about 80 miles and went to Jairambati. And the mother agreed to give her spiritual initiation, accept him as her child. And on a certain day, the mother, Sarada Devi, gave him that mantra. And after that, she said, I am not your guru. And pointing to a photograph of Sri Ramakrishna which was in that room, said, he is your guru. Then Gyana said, no, he cannot be my guru. You are my guru. I don't even know him. You see, Ramakrishna was not that well known all over India. He said, you are my guru. Then Sarada Devi said, no, I am your mother. He said, you are not my mother. My mother lives in the county Sylhet, a few hundred miles away from here. You are not my mother. Then Sarada Devi said to him, look at me. Then he looked at her and saw that it is not Sarada Devi, but his own mother was seated there. Such a little miracle Sarada Devi had to perform. And Gyana was overwhelmed. Then he fell at the feet of the Holy Mother. Eventually Gyana became a monk of the Ramakrishna Order. See, Sarada Devi would sometimes display. And he, to her, everyone was a child. That was British India. And at that time the independence movement had been started by Mahatma Gandhi and all. And then some women were also involved in that movement. And so the police would arrest them. Some woman was arrested by the police. And that displeased everybody. It was a peaceful, non-violent movement to gain independence. And that woman was put in jail. Hearing that news, everybody was upset. The women are respected. And then some monks of the Ramakrishna Order, the order had been formed by that time by Swami Vivekananda. They were also upset about it. They are talking against the British, that what the British had done was not right. Then this Sarada Devi said, but you see, they are also my children. The British are also my children. She was not blaming them. She once said, I am the mother of the good and I am mother of those who are not good. She is the mother of all. She displayed God's compassion. Whether we know it or not, we are all children of God. And God's compassion is equally being showered on all of us. A person who was a robber, he is a Muslim, his name is Amjad. He came to see Sarada Devi and she accepted him as her child. Everybody was her child. I am the mother of the good and I am also mother of the wicked. That's what she said. She is the embodiment of divine motherly compassion. She did not see anybody's defects. So I have already spoken for 40 minutes. I think I will stop now. And when she was in that house, which is called the Holy Mother's house now in Calcutta, then a woman came to see her. And she was about to depart from the world at that time. She was bedridden. And the woman said she did not have peace. Then Sarada Devi said to her, my child, if you want to have peace, consider that this entire world as your family. Don't see the defects in others. See your own defects only. So everyone is a member of your family. That's what she. If you want to find peace of mind, don't see the defects in others. Make everyone a member of your family, so to say. This is the advice of Sri Sarada Devi, who has personified motherly compassion. That's why I could have talked about her much longer, but I have to stop here because I have already spoken for 45 minutes. Thank you all for coming to listen about the Holy Mother's motherly glory. Thank you.